everyone, we're going to find a power series representation for f of x equals x divided by 1 plus 4x squared. We're also going to determine the radius of convergence. So basically, let's just look at radius of convergence. If our power series is the sum of x to the power of n, then this is your radius of convergence. What we have is basically, if we look at 1 divided by 1 plus 4x, we can write this as 1 divided by 1 minus negative 4x. So this is going to equal the sum from n equals 0 to infinity, and I'm going to substitute my x to the nth power to negative 4x to the nth power, because ours is different. Another thing to notice is that when you take the derivative of this, if you take the derivative of this is going to give you negative 1 divided by 1 minus x squared. Or it's actually going to be positive 1. So basically what we can do is just differentiate both sides of the equation. For example, if I rewrite this as 1 plus 4x to the power of negative 1, that's going to give me negative 1 times 1 plus 4x to the power of negative 2 times the derivative of the inner function, which is 4. So that's going to give me negative 4 divided by 1 plus 4x squared, which is what we have here. Now let's go ahead and differentiate this, because you have to differentiate both sides of the equation. That's going to give you, remember we have to go up 1 here. So this is going to be n equals 1 to infinity, and we're going to go ahead and split this up. This is negative 4 to the nth power times x to the nth. So I can write this as negative 4 to the nth power times, now let's differentiate our x. That's going to be n times x to the power of n minus 1. So now that we have that, I want to take this back down to 0. So I'm going to rewrite this as the sum from n equals 0 to infinity. So if I take this back down to 1, I have to add 1 to these n's. That's going to give me negative 4 to the power of n plus 1 times n plus 1 times x to the power of n. All right, so that's what we have here. The only thing is we have this x. So basically what I want to do is I want to multiply this by negative x over 4. So let me explain that. If I take negative x divided by 4 times negative 4 divided by 1 plus 4x squared, that's going to give me what I want here, my f of x. So that's going to equal your f of x here. I didn't save room. I'll just put it here. F of x equals this, because I want this to look like this. So I have to multiply also my sum of that. So I have to write this as negative x divided by 4 times the sum from n equals 0 to infinity of negative 4 to the power of n plus 1 times n plus 1 to times x to the power of n. So all I did from the previous slide is I multiplied everything I had, my two derivatives I'd taken, by negative x divided by 4 here. But for this, I'm going to have to go ahead and distribute this. So this is going to give you the sum from n equals 0 to infinity. Now I'm going to pull out this negative 1. So it's going to be negative 1 to the nth. And then I'm going to have times 4 to the nth power times n plus 1 times x to the power of n plus 1. because we're multiplying these two x's together, so you have an extra x. And here you're dividing by 4. So if you take 4 to the power of n plus 1, divide it by 4, that's the same as 4 to the nth times 4 divided by 4. So that's why we're just left with 4 to the nth power there. So that is your answer. That is your power representation given right here. Now, like I said before, your radius of convergence usually is x, but we had negative 4x to the power of n. So that has to be, radius of convergence has to look like this. So we're going to have negative 4x, absolute value of that has to be less than 1. Well, absolute value of negative is positive. So divide everything by 4, so you get absolute value of x is less than 1/4. So your radius of convergence equals 1/4. And that's your other answer. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.